Welcome to the Mani Gill Podcast. My name is Mani Gill, and I'm so grateful that you are here. I'm all about creating a community of like-minded individuals who are scaling up in their lives to bring self-awareness of why they are the way they are, what they need to release, what patterns they are repeating, so they can stop living on autopilot and move towards a path of freedom. I'm so excited to share my first ever episode with you. Thank you for being here. I hope you subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean so much to me. Before I introduce my dear friend and guest for today, Dimple Riot, I would like to share my story of where this step originated for me. It started with a gut feeling and a desire to connect during a season of getting to know myself. I was sitting at the beach, having raindrops fall on my face, when all of a sudden, the idea of a podcast originated. I've gone through over 10 years of transformational work, reading lots of books, journalizing, meeting people, sharing their own stories, and also having them help me along the way, only to realize that what I have learned throughout these years is what I would like to share with you from now on. When I look back today, I realize that what I went through had a lot to do with the programming that was given to me growing up. I knew that my family and friends were dear to me, and so I thought that what I was getting from them meant the world to me. But it was only during the later years that I realized that that was not true. Before I knew it, many years had already passed. That little voice kept growing inside of me, telling me something is not right, something is off, and I needed to explore that voice. Initially, when it came, I was not ready for it. And then it kept coming, it kept growing, it kept getting louder. And that was a time when I realized that this needed to be given attention to. Once I started doing that, I discovered a lot about myself, went through many spiritual awakenings, and each one of them brought me closer to the person I am today. Today, I would like to welcome my dear friend and Dimple, who is a transformational coach, wellness practitioner, and the founder of InSync Wellness Therapy. Her work bridges the subconscious mind, emotional healing, and self-mastery, supporting individuals in reconnecting with their inner calm, clarity, and authentic power. I have personally gone through some work with her myself, and I can honestly say her work is deeply humane, compassionate, and rooted in lived experiences. So welcome, Dimple Riot.
Thank you so much, Mani. I am so thrilled and I'm so delighted to be here today. And I cannot express the gratitude that I feel for the work that you have done for yourself. You've showed up for yourself in so many different ways. And I'm really, really privileged and honored to be here today.
Welcome. Dimple, I remember when I first talked about this with you, it was a couple months ago. And I said to you, I want to start my own podcast. And as a friend, you were so excited. And I remember that at that time, there were a lot of questions of what's going to happen, how is it going to format. And look, luckily today, I have you on my first podcast.
And I'm really honored. Thank you.
I would like to know more about what you do, even though I do know that you are a transformational coach. What exactly does that mean?
For me, the beauty, I would say, at the heart of my work is working with individuals, helping them to reconnect to themselves. And that I do with the subconscious mind, healing emotionally, bringing self-awareness, and also finding people their inner stability. So whether that is for someone who is feeling stuck, someone who feels disconnected. I mean, we do the right thing in our life that we go through and thinking we're doing what we're supposed to do, but yet there's a sense of overwhelm or a disconnect. And that is where I come in, where I help you rediscover who you are at the core before the world told you who you should be.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what made you want to do this kind of work? What led you to this journey?
Yeah. It's funny you ask, because I always say that this is not the work that I chose. This path chose me. And it started with my own personal healing journey. We don't realize that we walk the life and we become the person doing that we think that we need to do, and we start performing. But in that performance, we lose the whole essence of ourselves and don't realize that, is this what I want? Is this what supports my becoming? So I guess for me, coming here, migrating at a young age, navigating through separation and navigating through discovering, life taught me at a point that I need, or I seeked that inner peace. From outside, if you were to look at my life, everything looked fine. Everything looked as if it's great. But something deep inside of me was not feeling aligned with who I was maybe becoming, right? So initially, we take on things, start pleasing, and in that pleasing, when we become our roles, when we become our professions, when we become our, responsibilities, we don't realize that. So I think for me, it was that point where I kind of had to slow down and pause and see where I am going next is what's aligned with me. And I realized that there was a lot of inward journey that I needed to do to reflect as to who I am. And when that journey started is when my healing journey started. And hence, from that realization, I noticed that each and every individual, each one of us, are carrying this invisible emotional burden. And most of them are not even our own. And when I started to unpack and release and reframe, I wanted to create a space for others that I myself needed at one place. So InSync is exactly that place where we work on alignment with your mind, body, and inner self.
That's beautiful.
Your inner truth, I would say.
That's beautiful.
Right?
And having gone through transformational work myself, I understand that, yes, sometimes we are unknowingly playing roles in our lives, not realizing that is that really who we are.
True.
Right? We learn not so much from words, but from people around us and the way that their actions are. And especially when we're growing up, we pick up on these behaviors, thinking, hey, we're seeing this happen, and it's great. It must be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Only to realize that later on that, no, it doesn't resonate with who we are as individuals.
Exactly.
And that in itself is, I think, the work that you're doing is amazing because you're transforming people's lives to bring them to the capacity of becoming who they really are. And let me ask you, before you started this journey, what was that moment, that pinpoint that told you that I'm on this new journey? Was it a sudden movement, like instant? Was it months of somebody telling you something, a feeling that came around? What was that?
When I reflect back, I mean, thank you for asking this question. Not often I get asked this question, but when I think back to it, I don't think there was that one particular moment in my life that told me that I should be doing this. Because before this, I'm an entrepreneur. I had my own designing company, and like we have our family business, and to me, as mother of 3 children, that role was very important, and it still is very important. But when I got into meditation and I started walking a path to I would say the inner journey towards myself, then a lot of information just started to unpack. And it wasn't even conscious work that I was doing. It was happening simultaneously while I was living my still fast paced life where I'm the doer and I'm just doing. But here, when I started to meditate, I started to just slow down and started to pause, inner pause.
Mm-hmm.
And each thing that I would do, I would just question out of curiosity that is this supporting my alignment? And when I say alignment, I mean, are my thoughts, my feelings, and what I'm doing, is it the same or there's duality in there? Normally, what I found or what I discovered within myself, that my inner world was completely, it was wanting something different
Right.
versus what I was performing.
Right.
Right? I was being a mother, I was being a good wife and, a daughter or friend, and of course in my profession. So everything was aligned, the right pieces. And yet when I started to dive deeper within myself, those self-realizations were telling me something different. Right. So I think that was the initiation of my journey within and then upwards.
And it's surprising you say that, because I always thought that inner work happens when there's something big that happens in your life, something that goes wrong, a loss. It could be, a relationship, it can be health, it can be something. Other than that, when you're leading that life where everything is falling into place and, you're like, hey, I've got a good life, this is good, this is good, this is good. Why would a person want to start their journey at that point when everything to them at that moment is aligned, even though it's not aligned with it?
That is funny how you say that and brought this up. And you're right. Your transformation journey doesn't begin from the time that you discover it is becoming. It actually started way before, when something big did take place in your life. And I think for me, I still get emotional about this. I didn't know it's something still that I'm processing. But I think for me, it started when I lost a very important person in my life. And yet did not grieve the loss. On the contrary, I made myself more busy.
Right.
And when I started to meditate, started connecting to that part of myself, is when I started to heal or acknowledge that grief that still lived deep inside.
Deep inside? Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. So when you said you started meditating, please share with our viewers, what is meditation? What is it that meditation does for us, or that we do that it helps us?
See, meditation is a beautiful, beautiful process of connecting to yourself. It's a connection. We say yoga, um, but that is within ourselves first and then to the divine itself. So it's a beautiful relationship that you create with yourself and that supreme power, whatever that may look like for you, or whatever that may be for you, whether it's cosmic universal energy or whether it's God or Allah or Waheguru, whatever, however you connect with it. So it's not something where you are doing or you are being. It's a state where you just are. It's that space of oneness where you're not separate from anything and anything is not separate from you. So you are it and it is you. So in that oneness, in that connection, it is the receiving that it's that give and take because it's a relationship that you're creating.
Okay.
Right? So if everything is oneness, that means you are part of it.
And who is that relationship that you're creating it with?
With yourself.
With yourself.
With yourself, and then this whole existence, like I said, as some may call it universal cosmic energy, some may call it God or energy or the divine energy, whatever that may be for you that you see or you connect with that form of energy itself.
But I liked that. That was touching.
Yeah. I like how we help each other exchange this, right? All right. Ready whenever you are.
So meditation helps a person to connect with their inner self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Not only with the self, but the whole existence of ourself.
Okay. Could you elaborate?
There's, as I say, duality within ourselves.
Yes.
There's inner world, our inner world, whatever that's going on.
Yes.
And then we have our external world.
Yes.
So what we connect with is what is going on internally within ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you are sitting in that state of oneness, in meditate, like you are in a meditative state, meaning you are just being. Mm-hmm. You're just existing.
Yes.
So when you're existing, there's no noise. That noise of, I need to do this, I gotta be somewhere, or the noises of somebody else telling you who you are, what you should be doing, why you're not doing all of that. Everything kind of slows down. It's like this whole storm that is going around you. You become the eye of the storm where you are watching it come and go. And once it's done and it's gone, you just are the witness, your watcher, your observer that's just observing. And in that observing, whatever you're connecting to, it is becoming you and you are becoming it. So there's no noise, there's no duality, it's just pure existence. It's just a pure existence. So in that existence, you go deeper within. And the more deeper you go within, it is the state of meditation. Actually, it's not something that you're doing. You're just becoming it. It is at that state. Your consciousness, awareness is of.
And everybody has that capability of connecting with it.
Absolutely. That's who we are. That's our innate quality to be. But what happens is when we're born, as we grow up and as we learn who we are, who we should be from our environment, from our people, those layers that creates around us or we create around us, it kind of shoves everything down of your true essence.
Right.
And now you're performing from others' expectations of you.
Right.
So when you start to unpeel those layers, and you start to go and connect within yourself, your innate qualities like love, your peace, happiness, like who teaches you what love feels like, what true happiness feels like? Nobody tells you, nobody teaches you. But
Sadly,
yet,
no one does.
no one does, right? And who tells you, who teaches you what peace even feels like?
No
Nobody
one
does.
does.
And yet, each and every single one of us, what is our core seeking? We want to be peaceful.
To be at peace, yeah.
To be at peace, right?
Yeah.
That's what we work for. That's what we look for. That's what we seek. And yet, it is something that is already within you. That is who you are. That's why you're seeking that experience. But you
that's
don't,
amazing.
because your peace doesn't come from outside. And what do we normally do?
So you're saying that our external voices are louder, and that's why there's a hindrance in going into that
We
place?
allow those inner voices of others to take over and project that as who we are.
That's who we are. Yeah.
But when we
I totally agree with you, because I personally have gone through that. So yes, I agree. We allow those voices and to take it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
When we allow that, it is because we are coming from a place of we don't really know who we are. So we tend to look at others thinking that they know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And we think, okay, this person is this image of what I would want. Whereas that image could be something completely different from what we imagine it to be.
Exactly. Like, someone looks happy in a certain place or in a certain materialistic, a car or a house. And we think, okay, but that's what happiness probably feels like.
Yes.
Or looks like. Well, let me gain that too. Let me achieve that too. And then I will probably experience that happiness. Well, yeah, you do that. You buy a new car, you have a new house, and yet there's still something within you that you're longing. And yet you don't know what the longing is. Right.
And I will share that personal experience with you too, is yes, as growing up as a female, as a girl, we tend to have our girl gangs or girlfriends, and, we tend to learn from each other, and that learning can be positive or negative. We can pick up things that we think is great for the other person, but it isn't really for us. But since it's working for someone, we think it'll work.
That's right.
And in between that comparison, we lose a lot of time and effort doing that, not realizing that, hey, if I had taken another path, if I had chosen something else, I probably would have found myself sooner.
One thing, Mani, I have worked with many, many people from different walk of life. And yet one thing that I have discovered, and I realized that each and every one of our story, behind it, there's a different story.
Yeah.
We wear masks. We can carry we can carry the world with us and yet feel lighter.
Yes.
Or we cannot carry anything or anyone with us and yet carry those invisible burdens, those unsaid battles, or the words that we've never expressed. And that's where I think most of us, we like I said, we seek peace and happiness, but we sometimes intend to go to wrong places to find it, right? There's nothing wrong with having fun. That's what life is. That's what we should be doing, enjoying ourselves, having fun and connecting to the child within us. But the problem here is we have locked away that child, and in this adulthood, doing the very things that we think that would console the child within, the one whom we have neglected, locked in the room, a little corner of our heart, that because we don't want it to hurt. We want to protect that part in all ways, but there's a high consequences of doing that. Yeah. There's high consequences of doing that.
Yeah, and that only comes from awareness. That only comes from when your soul is ready to take that journey, right? So my question is are many souls now ready to connect with themselves, or are they still living on a habitual, robotic life where it's just the conscious habits, doing, being, or are they really ready to do that inner work? Because as a person who's done it myself, I know from my own personal experience, this is hard work. You think you've reached a hurdle or a mountaintop and you think you've covered it,
Mm-hmm.
And yet there could be some residue left, right? So when I started it, I actually did not know what I was getting into. It was a blind leap of faith. But there was that inner voice saying something is really off, right? And I remember that initially it was more about journalizing for me. The emotions that I was feeling, I couldn't make sense of them.
Right.
But they were in such a puzzle because the emotions would come and go, and the puzzle was all over the place, and I didn't exactly know what is it's trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Right? So it took me almost 2 years of journaling
Yeah.
to kind of start putting those pieces together.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And again, like you said, that there was a point when you were so busy in your work that you didn't want to look at what was really going on inside of you. For me, I took the other option. I said, hey, work can wait. Yeah. Let me work on myself.
Right. Right.
Right? Because even when we do business or when we go meet clients or whatever, if we don't work on ourselves, our businesses don't grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If there's a stagnancy somewhere, that is also being affected because of something inside of us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? So they're both interlinked. And I personally believe it's so beautiful. Everything is connected.
Everything is connected. And you know what? When we talk about that to understand a little bit more in depth, everything is connected and we're connected to it because we are energy. You know, we usually relate ourselves to the body. Yes, we do have a body, but when we're saying my body, who is the one that's claiming my body? It's the soul, the energy force that occupies this body in order to experience life, to explore, to express. So when we start to connect to that, the life force of us, that's how we understand that we are connected to everything and everything's interconnected. And, going back to one thing that you shared, that I would like to share that everyone's healing journey will look different, and it is different. When it starts, how it starts, that depends on when you are willing to show up for yourself. But let me tell you one thing, that if you feel your life is falling apart, everything around you is becoming chaotic, and you are feeling overwhelmed, or you're feeling disconnected with yourself, that's a very good sign. And congratulations.
Really?
It is, because that is the point, and that is the time where a bigger part of you is telling yourself, I am done, and I will no longer accept this form of disconnection anymore. I need to realign with myself. So you're right. At that point, a lot of people, what they will do, they will dismiss it. Mm-hmm. They will neglect it. They will avoid it. And that's why you'll see most people going in a direction of where, addiction of alcohol or substances, or they will do things in their life that they're not aligned with, but that's their coping mechanism to avoid that voice that is asking for your help. And it did before as well. But again, we dismiss and avoid those flags. Or I would say the red flags.
So would you say that if a person goes towards an addiction, be it of any sort, does that voice go away? Or does that voice get louder?
It becomes louder.
It becomes louder.
It becomes louder.
So when you don't listen?
Because that's the cry. That's your internal cry. And your body's way of telling you and showing you that something is not right, something is wrong, and I need your attention immediately to rectify whatever that you need. It's an internal voice of your higher self, or your awareness, right? Your consciousness.
So when something is wrong, is it your body that knows first or your mind?
See, again, they're connected. Nothing is separate. Although they have their own rules. Like your body is, I would say, function oriented.
Yes.
It will, so if your mind creates a thought,
yes,
then that thought will create an emotion in your body, right? So your brain has these transmitters that they will pick up from the thought, the mind. And when you're feeling something, your emotions live in your body. So your body is getting an instant physiological response.
Yes.
Right? So your body is telling you, it's indicating something is not right. So if you are suppressing your emotions, let's say emotion of anger or emotion of frustration or irritation or sadness, anything that you are suppressing, not addressing, it lives in your body and it comes out in the form of diseases because your body has to release it, right? It cannot
Really?
hold on to it.
Okay.
So everything is interconnected. That's how smart our mechanism is. It's like if you have a car, your car has engine, it has its tires, and all the pieces are in place for a reason. And every part has its own function
Yes.
and role to play.
Mhm.
Similarly, we're given the body the same way. Our body has a brain. That brain has our subconscious mind that has its own mind and intellect that is sending those transmitters to the brain, and that brain is sending signal to the body right away. So everything's happening simultaneously. We're very, very lucky. But the goal here is, the key here is to take a pause, slow down, and see what is happening with it. And that's why in my practice, the first thing I do, see, I love that how all of this is brought together in sync because it works not just at one part, it works at both your mind, body, and the soul, your consciousness.
That's beautiful. And now I understand why you've named it In Sync.
Yes.
Okay. That's beautiful. So when you're working towards the mind, body, and soul, right? And you go through that journey, every part of them, be it the mind, the body, knows there's a disconnect. And yet they're still functioning on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Right?
Accurately.
Right? So when they're still functioning on a day, because I myself, when I was disconnected, I was all in the brain. My mind was constantly working. I knew something was off, but I did not connect with my heart.
Yeah.
It was the mind. It was on overdrive. Right? And I did not know that along the journey, it was also going to help me to reconnect with my heart.
Right.
Right? And at first, when the first time it happened, when I was reconnecting, I was like, this is new. This is something I haven't done, because my mind was constantly thinking.
Right.
Overthinking, creating scenarios that were not real.
Yeah.
What if this happens? What if that happens? Yeah. Oh, I'm comfortable with this, even though it was not the right thing for me, but this is what I know.
Right.
Instead of going in a direction of, okay, that is something I don't know. Is that going to be better or worse?
Right.
So why is it that people are more comfortable in their comfort zones, even though that can be a sort of abuse for them?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good question, Mani, because it goes back to their childhood experiences, right? As a child, as you even mentioned it in the beginning of your podcast, that when we are conditioned in a certain way, we are not told to be conditioned that way. We actually see, observe, and that is how we process it. That child, 7-year-old child who does not know that, you know what, mom is upset, maybe because of something what she is experiencing, but because she hasn't expressed her emotion, she has not addressed her trauma or whatever that the disappointment in her life that she's experiencing, because she hasn't processed it, who is she's letting out on? The child. So as a 7-year-old, it's going to think, okay, well, there's something wrong with me. I must be not a good child because I'm not able to make my mom happy. The child is not going to understand or does not have the ability or the information or the capability to process that my mom's emotions are hers. My actions are not dependent on her mood, or I'm not responsible for her mood. But that child learns that, okay, I am responsible for mom's mood. If I'm a good child, if I do what I need to do, that means happiness for my mom.
Yes.
But that is a very detrimental understanding for a child because he or she grows up believing that if I do everything right, according to what their expectations are of me, meaning their happiness. Right? And then first
So
it's
from
the
a very young
parents.
age.
From a very young age. So first it's the parents. My actions equals their happiness.
Right.
And then becomes the in-laws, then becomes the spouse and the in-laws, and then the child or the children or the society and their social network. So one unprocessed emotion or understanding, it's a loop that carries on into our adulthood in our personal and our professional life itself, right? Because that becomes my identity. That I'm a good person, I'm a kind person, I'm a compassionate person, and all of this equals sacrificing. All of that equals giving. All of that equals putting others' needs before mine. So when you live your life from that process, understanding, how heavy does that become?
Yeah.
How overwhelming does it become? Because at one point, you also become that person who wants to be held, who wants to be cared, who wants to be told that, you know what, we see you, we hear you, we get you, but you know what, you don't need to do all of that to have the love or the belonging that you seek. But that woman now or this adult now, who once was a 7-year-old who created that belief, has been carrying that belief, now has become that ingrained understanding, cannot carry that burden no longer. So that's where we work. That's where this work comes in, that, okay, first we understand who you are. You're not the body, you are the energy. Now that energy has its own subconscious layer. We have our conscious, and then we have our deep subconscious layer, in which we have all our belief systems, we have our patterns, and then we have all these imprints from our experiences, these identities that we've created that no longer serve the path that you're walking. It no longer serves the person that you're becoming or you're wanting to become. Right. So when we understand that aspect and starts to start processing and layering and then reframe to your true self-identity of the person who you truly are or chooses to be, that's when the moving forward step works and happens. And you're right, it's not easy. It's not work that's going to happen overnight. And it does require a lot of letting go. You are going to lose a lot of relationships. You are going to let go of your I guess you can say your groups or your activities that you would normally do before, but no longer resonates with you. So there's a lot of reconstruction that's happening within you.
So it sounds like you're basically letting go of a huge part of your identity at one point.
You must release what no longer helps you. It's like if I tell you, here, carry this bag of rocks with you, and you're going to sleep with this and you're going to wake up with this. How is your performance going to be? How are you going to function?
Not well. Not for long.
Not for long. You'll be fatigued. You'll feel tired. You'll feel like as if you've just carried, you're carrying the whole world on your shoulders. And yet that is not true, because it's a choice that you're making, but you didn't know that you're making this choice because nobody told you that it's your choice. It was a compulsory.
Right.
But you understand now that it's not compulsory at all. I do have a choice. I have a choice to be who I truly am. And how are you going to know who you are when you don't connect to the true part of yourself, right? So yes, when you release and you actually choose consciously, that's what we call the state of awakening. You're awake. You are serving the same relationships. You are showing up in the same environments, whether it's professional or personal, but you're choosing to come with the response versus reactions. Right? So now if your coworker says something to you, or they're projecting onto you something of their insecurities, you'll be able to identify that, hey, it's not about me, it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
So I no longer take what is yours. You keep that, I keep this. So you're able to show up for yourself with respect while respecting the other person. your thought process, your whole existence, your energy, your vibe completely changes when you come from the authentic place of being who you are meant to be, who you truly are, right? And that is something you choose. You're no longer functioning from the old patterns, old belief systems, and old programming.
But isn't it really hard to give up something that you've known for 20, 30 years?
It's only hard, Mani, when you don't know and when you don't understand. But when you understand something, that it's toxic, it's not serving. Yes, it did help you protect that part of yourself, but it no longer now is helping. On the contrary, it's draining you. It's suffocating you. Would you not change? I mean, you did a lot of work that you see. The hardest thing that we have is to let go of the identity whom we are attached to. Once you're no longer attached to that same identity, it becomes, I wouldn't say easy, it becomes instant to create that shift. But here's another thing. The hardest part is, yes, you are now understanding. You realize you're ready to create that shift. And you also know what you want to let go and you release. Mm-hmm. But now what? Because now there's a void. Because
now you're empty inside.
You are
a lot of the things that you knew, you don't resonate with them anymore.
That's right.
So you're like, okay, I have all this space and it's empty inside.
Yes.
What do I do? How do I know? How do I fill it, basically?
And I say, even that is a beautiful stage or the place where you're in your life. That is the space where you are that artist. Now you have a canvas. You choose your color. You choose a texture of the brushes, and you choose the strokes, and you choose the flow of the strokes that you want to create. So you become the artist. You become the creator. You become the designer who now creates solid foundations.
That's beautiful.
Right?
And so the people who are willing to do the work, that's amazing. But the people who still choose not to, is that why there is, like you said, there's a lot of addictions that people go through? I'm guessing mental illness is a reason that, from my understanding, mental illness is basically playing a role that is not you. So in society, you're fulfilling somebody else's expectations of the role that you're playing for them. Mm-hmm. And like you said, everything is connected. So if I'm playing that role with one person, unknowingly, I'll start playing that same role with everybody around me because that's what I get to know. I know that you're not that much into mental health, but is mental health one of those reasons that this is happening? Are we not realizing that? Because before it used to be that mental health was because of older people having struggles. Because, as you get older, there's work stress, there's family stress, there's financial stress. All of that kind of adds on. But recently I've been hearing, and it's happening more and more in kids too. But kids don't have that kind of stress. That's the most joyful part of their life. Mm-hmm. It's like you get to be a free bird. You get to behave how you want to. You get to say what you want to, and you're not always criticized for it.
Right.
Right? So even though I know that's not your expertise, would you say that's a part of it?
Mani, I'm a firm believer that when we know better, we do better. Okay. And what we know is how we function. And unfortunately, you're so correct that our new generation, unfortunately, are so disconnected from within and from their own selves that the connecting with that part of them as, when you're growing up, you're up until you're 7, that's your prime time of developing your brain. But it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
Until the age of 24 to 25, your brain is still developing.
Really?
And even with the adults, yes. So while that development is happening, what kind of quality of information are you putting in your mind? it is a tremendous reason why I believe that we're seeing a lot of challenges in mental health, especially with children. Suicides are at peak. And I see there's also, of course, other variables as well.
Of course,
our technology, as useful as it is, if it's given into the immature hands, they will only use it for the purpose of entertainment.
Yes.
Or what they know the best, right?
Yes.
So, and most of the foundation of groundedness, of the connection, the bond, that starts from early childhood. And if we look at our nuclear families right now, what do we observe? I have observed both parents are working.
Yes.
Children are bringing themselves up in a way, in a sense that after school, they have that time. Even grandparents, the groundedness, the connection, the bond. Very rare families I have observed lately. I don't know if it's the same for you as well, right?
No, I totally agree with you.
So when these children are growing up, their bonding, their connection, their grounding, what is their source? Entertainment,
Yes.
TV,
Yes.
phones, and what is available on those phones, those apps that we have no idea how they're priming their mind. And the information is being fed so fast, like they're getting cheap dopamine. Dopamine that when you do something and it gives you a sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, it helps you to succeed. It gives you a sense of, okay, you know what? I'm going to do better in my next project or assignment. But that is very rare to see because we want something gratifying. We reward ourselves instantly. Right? We are scrolling through the reels one after another. We don't even stop to watch a reel to see what it is giving us.
I
What
totally
value
agree.
is it adding for us?
Yes.
We're not looking for any value. We're looking for fast, instant gratification. So how is it priming the young mind? So what does that do to children when we come to mental health?
Yeah.
See, because there's no grounding, they're getting this cheap dopamine. And they wake up with sleeping late, waking up late, or even if you're waking up early with insufficient sleep or rest, it's creating a lot of stress hormones, cortisol. Like we're supposed to have that at nighttime, but that's a time when you go to sleep, when it's downtime. We don't unfortunately give our kids, forget about our kids, we don't even give it to ourselves as adults. So what are we teaching the kids? What are we passing on to them? What kind of coping mechanisms are we passing on to the kids, right? I remember when I was young, we would have Sunday to the family where we would either go to the Gurdwara or we would go to the temple. And it was very deeply grounding and connecting. You meet people, different families there, or you meet different kids there. So that was your socialization and community.
Yes.
What do our kids have today? Right? And that is something I invite every person to reflect on, that what is it they're offering their kids, because whatever that they're offering is the result I'm sure they see within themselves, right? Where's our family quality time?
I don't see that at all right now.
Yeah. So, everybody, it's for,
I know it's individual.
To reflect individually that when we do have that time with the family, what kind of, or what quality of experiences are we creating?
Even if we have family time, I've noticed a lot where kids are busy on their phones.
Kids are busy. Adults are busy on their phones.
And that's what I was going to say. Even adults are equally busy on their phones.
Yeah.
So they're not actually present in that moment.
That's right.
They're working somewhere else.
And I think you just touched that key word, the presence. We are not present in the now. We're either living in the past or we are rushing and reaching out or trying to achieve the future at the expense of our now and our presence. And unfortunately, our kids are paying the price for it. Because any new generation, we are the torch bearers.
Yes.
So as we pass on the torch, just like we have carried the torch from our ancestors, our grandparents, we are also that generation. And I actually say that we are the generation, we're the bridge between our older generation and our new generation. So we have even a more responsibility to become self-aware, self-reflective, so we can let go and create that future within us. So when we pass on that torch, we make sure that it is fully lit, it is fully vibrant for the next generation to carry and run with it.
But at the same time, as far as I know, there wasn't so much of knowledge or education on these topics back then. I feel in the last, I would say more than 10, 15 years ago, most of this has really grown, this kind of work. Back in the day when my parents were growing up, if there was an issue, they would just be like, be quiet, deal with it in your own way,
and it was stigmatized as well, right?
Yes. And I don't just say that for females, even for men. If they have a problem, hey, you're the man. Just deal with it. Keep moving, right? You cannot cry. You're the man, right? And for the females, it's like, if I've gone through some trauma, it's like, okay, this has happened. Stay quiet. Suppress it. If you talk about it, what will society say? And now I feel, and I'm not just saying now, it could be the last 5-10 years, is where people are actually coming out and saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to be quiet. I want to talk about it. Because I know that there is some sort of a release of the pain that I've been carrying.
Absolutely. And I think that goes back to one of the questions that you had asked earlier as well, that how many people are becoming self-conscious now. And I think this generation or this era is all about self-awareness. It is about self-actualization, because if we want to create a change, that change begins with us, even though if it's a small, but it is something that creates a wave, and that wave affects not just only that one drop or your drop of effort. It actually creates a ripple effect in the whole ocean. So absolutely, I believe, and I have observed and experienced even within myself as well, that there is a shift, and that shift is necessary. It is necessary because when something is overwhelming, it is overflowing, whether it's positive or negative, it is about the shift. And it is about the shift. And we are shifting.
I think we are. I think this is the time, even especially after COVID, there has been a major shift. And it's not just your personal evolution, it's the work, it's the people. Everything has started to shift, or has been shifting for a while.
Absolutely.
And so when I started working with you, my personal story is one I find very close to my heart. My initial years of going through this transformation was very lonely. I grew up with people around me, and they could be a few friends or family, or somebody would always be around. But when I started this journey, I was alone. And that really hurt me inside, because society projected that you need people around you because that makes you normal or acceptable. So the initial stage of feeling rejected or alone was terrifying. But as I went deeper into that journey, and that happened through journalizing, through reading books, and like you said, there's no one book, there's no one way, there's no one person that can help you. There's multiple layers. And those layers can take time. Some people can do it in a short amount of time, depending on what they want to achieve. Some people take a longer time. So when I was going through it, I was stuck at a stage, at a rut, and I didn't know how to move forward, right? That inner voice kept saying, you think you're over this, but no, you're not. And I looked at every challenge that I had in my journey as a mountaintop. I didn't even look at it as a hill. I looked at it as a big mountain, and I got to get to the top, or I got to go over to the other side. Right? So there was this big mountaintop that I had to get through. And so I kept asking myself, what is it that I can do to get through it?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I just said to the universe, I was like, universe, please show me the person who can help me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've known you for many years, but yes, we reconnected on a more deeper level when that stage occurred. And I remember when I just spoke to you for maybe 10, 15 minutes, I realized that, you know what? She's the person who can help me. Right? And lo and behold, I went through your program. And before I share any further, I would just like to ask you, I know you do rapid transformation therapy. What is that? What does that include? What does that imbibe? Would you please share?
For sure. Firstly, Mani, thank you for sharing that. Honestly, you know what? This is the hearing stories or sharing such as this makes me feel privileged to be doing the work that I do. And as you have experienced RTT yourself, it's a powerful modality that works at the subconscious mind.
Okay.
And when we work at the subconscious mind, the reason why I chose this for my modality, or one of the modalities that I explore or practice, because I strongly believe, especially when I was meditating, I came across individuals that are capable, successful, achieving multiple things in their areas of expertise, and yet struggling deep inside. Whether that's entrepreneurs, whether that's our medical help associates, or our other individuals in different fields, professions, they carried this weight, emotional weight, invisible weight that themselves did not know how to carry. And unfortunately, when it comes to meditation, it is a practice that one experiences. And as you exercise it, of course, you strengthen the muscles, just like we go to the gym. But it is a process. And unfortunately, because we're in a world where we don't have, like you said, we don't have that amount of time because we want that instant gratification. We want it done right away. Unfortunately, I didn't have a way that I could help them.
Right.
And so when I started my healing journey, I knew working with the mind is the way to go, because our subconscious mind is a warehouse. It's a warehouse of all of our experiences. It has our past, it has our present, it has every single thing that we have gone through, even heard of while we were in the womb. Not from the time we were born, but from the time that we were in the womb.
Oh, I thought it was when you're born.
No, it's from the time you're in the womb. And to attest to that, I had a client who lived with a belief that being a girl is a sin, is the belief that she had carried with her, hearing her grandma repeatedly say to her mom while she was pregnant with her, that it better be a boy, not a girl. So when that child was born as a girl, she carried that with her, and it just impacted her whole life, her whole decisions. So coming back to why I chose to do what I do and what it is. So because our subconscious mind has that power, the warehouse of all the information that we need to identify that whatever you are experiencing, what it is, why it's there, when did it start for you? So when it started for you, how it started for you, and why are you still carrying it, and what, most importantly, it's doing for you now. Right? Mostly every ailment, whether it's your any kind of diseasiness or disease, or your coping mechanism, is there to protect you from something.
Right.
So when we revisit that and understand that and reframe that, I have seen rapid transformations. Because it's inner dialogue.
Yes.
Right? If our subconscious mind or our mind creates, let's say, 38,000 different thoughts per second. I'm not even talking about a day, per second. And we do not know what type of thoughts it is creating, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether it's like mundane, or whether it's even detrimental. We don't know. But yet we can identify what kind of thought is being created in my mind,
Yes.
or that loop that is in motion, by looking at and observing our body. Our body is the medium. It's a compass that tells us where you are looping and where and how you can disrupt that pattern and create a different momentum. That is the power of working with subconscious mind. And that's where we are able to, or that's where I'm able to work with my client with the subconscious level with RTT. It's a powerful modality that helps me to create that awareness or the root cause of whatever the ailment is in the first session. And then we work forward. We now know what it is, and now we know what we need to do moving forward.
So in order for you to do this therapy, you're looking at the trigger, and then based on that, you're doing the therapy. Once you've covered that, then you can move forward and align it to where you want to go.
I don't work with symptoms.
Okay.
Symptoms are the organic results of what's already at the root cause.
At the root cause.
So when we work at the root, everything else is going to organically shift.
Yes.
Right? What are we,
right.
see, this is a problem right now. What are we focusing on? We're focusing on the symptom.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We have medication, which again, if you have a condition, you need medication, please, you take that because it's helping you to keep that at where it is. However, when you're working at the symptom, you take a pill, it's suppressing it. You're not addressing it. Whereas with working with the subconscious mind, we address it. Not only address it, we give it the attention that it needs. And when we give it the attention it needs, we are able to reframe it. So your mind accepts that reframing. It accepts the new ideas. Right now, your mind, what does it do? It's so powerful that it wants to keep you away from anything that's troubling you. And it wants to give you what gives you the pleasure.
Yes.
So why is it that we keep choosing what is familiar, even though it's toxic, even though it's negative? You know, you get out of one relationship, you get into the next one. Different person, same pattern.
Yes, that's true.
Right? That could be personal, professional, friendships, anything.
Yes.
Right? You can change your location. You can move from one place to the other place. Start a new beginning, everything fresh. Yes, everything is fresh, but what you're carrying with you is the same.
It's the same.
You will eventually start seeing the same old pattern that you left thinking now you're starting new and you'll get a fresh start. Fresh start doesn't happen externally. It starts internally first and then externally. So this is what I invite my clients, and this is the work that I do. Before I work on anything outside, let's take a pause, go within and see what it is inside of me that is happening that needs or is asking for that shift.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I remember I went through that therapy with you myself. The therapy itself made my body shiver. And then after the therapy had ended, I remember it took at least 2 to 3 weeks for that transformation to occur. Because I would feel off, because energy changes, you're going to feel off. Something that has been built inside you for so long is now taking a transformation.
Yeah, it's your body that's releasing, and it releases in different ways.
Yes. And when, after those 3 to 4 weeks, whatever that time period was, I finally got to a stage where this is it. Now I know that there is somebody who can get me past that mountain.
Oh,
right?
Thank you, Mani.
And my personal story has been very, very close to my heart because the early stages are easier. It's when you get to the higher stages where those steps take longer. And I think more than anybody telling you something, it's you wanting to believe that.
Yeah.
So people can tell me, this is how this is. This is what's going on, right?
Mhm.
But am I processing it? Am I believing it? Right?
Yeah.
I think that in itself takes a long time.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to believe the worst for others.
Yeah.
We can do that for ourselves. I'm my worst critic.
We're very good at doing
Right?
that.
I am my worst critic. But when it comes to me saying good things about myself, yes, through that journey, I'm blessed. I've started doing that. I now, say beautiful things to myself, say kind things to myself, say lovable things to myself, which, again, nobody teaches you.
Yeah. I like to, well, thank you for sharing that, Mani. That is very powerful. And again, it brings me back to the grace of God, why I, do what I do. And adding on to what you were saying, I'd like to kind of say it as, this is not a visit to a doctor where you get prescription. This is going to a surgeon where you're actually having an internal surgery. And there's a process of recovery. There's a process of you creating and holding space for yourself during that recovery period. And that's why it's very, very important to give yourself that grace and time as well. Because when you have a recovery, it's like cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You remove cancer from your body, your body is going to feel the shift.
Yes.
And it is going to go through pain, some sorrow, maybe discomfort, maybe. And it depends for everybody. It could be different. But that discomfort is there. And through that discomfort, when you are growing to carry yourself and love yourself, even the pieces you never accepted, but now you're learning to accept, that takes a lot of courage. And it's a journey you don't want to walk by yourself. It is helpful to have someone with you who can redirect you to the place where, reminding you that now you are the child and you are becoming the parent to the child. So if your child has just had a surgery, how would you take care of them?
Oh, in every possible way.
In every possible way,
yeah.
Right? So now you got to hold the same grace. You got to become your own parent and take care of that child who just had the surgery internally. And teach that child to walk again, to eat again, to laugh again, to enjoy their own company again. So there's small steps, but as you keep moving in the direction of self-love and self-care is where your empowerment and the alignment resides. And I've seen your growth and I've seen your journey, and it led us here. So I'm so
definitely has
to be here. Yes,
I think I've said this to you many times. I think the kind of work you do is, in a way, God's work.
It is God's work.
Because
I truly believe He's the one who's put me here.
Yeah, no one is born in this planet to not be aligned.
Yeah,
no one is born here to suffer. Right? We are all born with abundance. And we all deserve that equally, right? Yes.
But unfortunately, not every one of us believe that, though.
Yes. And I think that is one thing that this journey teaches you, right?
Even God Himself says that I can only help you to the point where you're able to help yourself.
Yes.
If you can believe me, why can you not believe in yourself? My help starts to come in when you begin to believe in yourself.
And I'm really glad you said that, because I remember when I started my journey, my mom used to say, you're a girl. Even if you try to make these changes, it's not going to affect anyone. And I said to her, you don't know that. You haven't done it. And then I said, would you want me to live that inner world life that you have?
Yeah.
And she said, no. She said, I want you to do better. I want you to live better. Right? So when she said that, it was like me getting my wings back. Right? Because you just need that one person who doesn't know what the journey is going to be like, but there to stand with you. Yeah. And they don't need to be understanding everything that you're doing.
That's right.
But they can just say, hey, I don't understand this, but I'm there.
Yeah. That's what it is. If we can have the right support, right environment, then we can create miracles.
Right?
Yeah.
And yes, and I think I wouldn't say I'm a miracle, but yes, I agree. When things start to fall apart, it is a blessing.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing because we as individuals, we think so little of ourselves.
Mm.
The universe is saying, hey, I think much more of you
Yes.
than you do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And if you can find somebody who can help you along the way, that's when I say you're doing God's work.
You know, Mani, I firmly believe that we all have a responsibility to every single thing that we have used in this lifetime, whether it's the space, whether it's the place. Today we're using this space to create. Again, we don't know who is going to listen to this podcast, to who it's going to touch in what way, and what part of the journey of their transformation they're at. And this will probably is the very thing that they need to hear. We don't know, but we are definitely responsible to do the work and offer something that we are gifted with, whether it's a skill, whether it's a talent. Even like you said, through your journey, when you started, you read so many books that led you from one place to the next, to the next, and to the next, and then to the final place where you needed someone else to show up because you were ready to do the inner work that required from you.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's why kudos to you as well. I know
Thank you.
it takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there and to begin something that you're uncertain about. But you know what? It's like you said, it's not your work. It's not for you, but whoever it is for, may it go far and beyond and help them align with clarity to their path in order for them to help move forward.
And I'm going to just reiterate what you said is, and it is hard work. And I have an inner voice. I asked myself, why do certain individuals, and very few might I add, go through this work? Why do they go through it? And the purpose of it is, when they're done, is to give back to people who don't know it.
Absolutely.
Right? I actually, through the work, I read something really powerful, and I said, what is the purpose of being born in this planet? And in our Punjabi, they say seva, giving back.
Service, yeah.
Right? And our elders are good examples of that. They would always give back. Like you said, you would go to the Gurdwara, you would sit there, be it with your in-laws, your kids, your whatever, and you would look at other people doing that. Right? And then when you do that, you ask your kids, hey, we want to give back too. Right? And giving back can be in different variety of ways.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So when you have that consciously come into you or subconsciously, I don't know which way it is, but then when the universe is giving you that power, you need to utilize it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you did. You came into that form. Right? Where you're like, okay, universe is guiding you. You're taking the steps to get there. And now, just like me, you probably have changed other people's lives too. I don't even know how many countless people you've helped along the way. And if you don't mind, would you be able to share one or two of those stories?
Absolutely. Each story that I'm gonna use each client as each story, because that's, to me, it is because that client, whoever that has walked, that have allowed me to walk that journey with them, has more than me helping them, I think has helped me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And the reason why I say that is because we only have a limited vision. But when you see life of so many individuals, what they have gone through, the hardships and the challenges, and yet they are still willing to overcome and do justice to them and their kids, to heal whatever they're going through so they can be the best of their selves for others, I think is the biggest gift that anyone can give. And me just being part of it is it's a blessing for me. It's my earning Not financial, but I truly feel it's my karmic earning that God has enabled me to earn. And stories, I mean, other than yours.
And
I just had a client.
And that's why I'm so grateful. You're the first one on my podcast. I felt like this needed to be shared. The problem is that a lot of people go through these journeys, but they don't share it. It's very personal because, like social media acknowledges, we're all looking at our good sides.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about our weaknesses.
Absolutely.
Nobody wants to talk about our shadows.
Yes.
Right? But I find that in the dark is where the light grows.
Absolutely. And you know what? I agree with you. And that is where, when my clients come to me with their stories, like whether it is a woman who is going through divorce and yet doesn't know which way to go, and working together, it's like she's regained her self-respect enough to know to make the right decision for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than asking others what I should do, what is the right thing for me to do, she is able to sit within herself and ask within, what is aligned with me right now? There's a sense of clarity to move forward to make the right decision for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have, woman again in a relationship, in a toxic relationship, who was able to understand her self-respect and be able to identify which path she needs to go for the betterment of her future self. And then, of course, so many stories, and each one is...
So you're actually not helping them make that decision. You're just helping them to figure it out all on their own.
It's not my right to decide for them. See,
right.
Everybody is on their own journey, and that's one thing I'm very, very clear with. My role is to guide you to from the place where you are, help you realize and understand who you are and where you want to go, and what it will take for your now new discovered self or the identity to get there. I'm the guide who walks you through step by step, and I'm available for you at every stage of that transformation. So it's not just temporary, it's permanent.
It's permanent.
And it's permanent to you with clarity. No answers come from me. It's your story. From your story, you have the answers. This is another beautiful thing that we forget.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about meditation, when you sit in that meditative state of deep silence within, there's a sense of solitude. Like there could be, right now we can hear the noises. We can hear maybe so many hustle and bustle, and there's shifts around us.
Yeah.
But because we're so involved in our conversation, this is the only thing that we're able to focus on, and we're focusing on.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Similarly, that's exactly that state of meditation is, or the meditative state. It's not like where you're sitting down with your eyes closed and you sit for hours and hours. No, it's a state of awareness that you carry with you, irrespective of what is happening, with your eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is, who is the one who's creating that state? It's I, the energy source, the spirit, the soul. So when the soul is sitting deep within, with clarity, what my target is, what my aim is, what am I going to focus on, what am I going to respond, and what does not deserve my attention or response, you're moving with a sense of purpose. And that sense of purpose speaks before you even get in the room. That shift, that alignment, that energy, you don't need to say anything because your gaze already sets the stage. And that's the power of creating that state when you sit in solitude and silence with yourself to maintain that. So what happens is, all that noise, it just becomes a background. Everything blurs out. Nothing fluctuates. I'm not saying nothing affects you, but nothing fluctuates you internally. Mm-hmm. Neither you get more excited or happy, neither you become really sad or deep into irritations or frustrations. There's a sense of deep calmness. And when you are deep, deep, deep into something, how long does it take for you to come out? It takes a while, right?
It takes a while.
It takes a while. So if someone, cuts you on the street or someone says something that is not appropriate, they won't affect you.
No, it won't.
It won't affect you. So if it's not affecting you, you're preserving your energy.
Yes.
There's no leakages. What are our daily leakages? The chatter in our mind.
Yes.
And what is that chatter in our mind? We're not even aware of it. So when you become aware,
Personally, for me, it's I think other people's voices.
most of the time that's what it is. And even if it's our voice, what type of voice is it?
I think it's just other people's dialogues that I'm reiterating in my mind.
Right. And you're condoning yourself for that. Yeah. So when you become aware of that chatter by becoming the observer, that is meditation.
Mm.
Because now you are just watching. You're witnessing.
Right.
You're not involved in it.
Right. That's so, yeah.
Right?
So beautiful.
So when you come from that awareness and you work on yourself, that's the strength. That's the power of alignment and clarity that you gain.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I experience in my clients over and over again. Because that's the work I also do on myself as well. And it's not a one-day thing. It's not something you do and it's gone. It is something you've got to maintain. Just like we eat every day. We drink every day as we get thirsty. Mm-hmm. Similarly, this work of being aware and being the watcher and the witness and the observer, it's a conscious practice, which we call mindfulness. This is what mindfulness is, that you're watching and you're observing and then you're leaping into. Versus leaping into and thinking, oh God, now save me, I'm drowning.
That's how I learned swimming.
Well, that's pretty good. I think that's how we learn life, right? Nobody teaches us what life is.
I didn't get any swimming lessons. I just did. Somebody goes, here. There you go. Now learn.
Right? I think that's how your life has been too then. Okay, here you go, money. Now go live. Until you're like, no, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
This is not what I choose.
Let me step back. And if I have to step back for a long time, I'm okay. But I need to figure this out.
Yes. And you know what? No one has it all figured out. But it's beautiful that that you're showing up and doing it at one step at a time.
And so there's a question that I have, and I think my followers would want to hear, is when you said the beauty of being awake, right? What does being awake mean in terms of all of this work that we go through?
Awake is a conscious being in touch with the self.
Okay.
Right? For example, you are going into a meeting. Mm-hmm. You have a different agenda. People in the meeting have a different agenda. Something comes up. So rather than reacting or just jumping into it, you take a pause and you check in within yourself. How is it landed in my body? Mm-hmm. How does it settle in? Does it feel aligned? Now, we're not talking about right or wrong.
Yeah.
We're talking about alignment. Yeah. It could be the wrong thing for somebody else, but if you feel, okay, that's the right thing to do, let's go with it. Yeah. So your decision making becomes very effortless.
Yeah, because right and wrong is subjective to each person.
Exactly.
Right.
But when you check in with this part of you, right, that says, okay, you know what, this is a go. Or wait a minute, pause and stop because there's a red flag. Because usually that's what we do. We ignore and avoid or dismiss certain red flags thinking, no, this is my person. He wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. But there's a part of you, your intuition that's telling you, no, you need to stop and pause before you invest further, before you give more of you where that person has no ability or capability to receive it, or vice versa.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Right.
Right. So we jump into relationships because we have an empty bucket that we feel others will fulfill, but not realizing that what what you're hoping for them to fulfill, it's already here, but it's just all clouded with different beliefs or experiences that probably just needs to be addressed.
But then if we are that way, aren't we attracting the same as well?
You are attracting that because that's the place where you are. That's why when you stop and do these check-ins, it's a gaze to show you where you are at, right? Like, when anything happens with the kids, we blame the kids. We're so quick to blame the kids that, oh, this child did this, or they're not behaving, or they're not performing at school well. Okay, well, what's happening around them? Let's check.
Yeah.
How are you showing up as a parent for them? Let's check.
Yeah.
Because it's never the other person. If it is due to their nature and their habits, then we still need to address and check within ourselves that why are we keep going to the circus? If that individual is a clown, let's just say, doing mischievous things, then why are you entertaining it?
Yeah.
What is it within you that needs to be addressed or healed or recognized?
Yeah.
So
That's
every
true.
situation is a mirror. Every individual is a mirror. And I think it was you who were just sharing that, you know what? Every situation comes to teach us something. And if we don't learn it the first time, the cycle repeats. And if we still don't learn, then the cycle repeats again.
And it becomes harder.
And it becomes even bigger.
Yeah.
So that is our work, to recognize that, you know what? There's a party that's happening in town, but am I aligned with that party? It's not that the people are right there. No.
Mm-hmm.
Is that my vibe? Is that my tribe? If it's not, okay, well, then who am I first?
Yes.
Then let's go. You don't need to go chase anyone. You don't need to go seek anyone. You become that, then you attract it. So whatever that you're attracting, whatever that is coming, now observe it. And then witness yourself. Because the chances are you're doing the dance, the same dance, the very dance that you are condemning in others.
Or that you were running away from at one point.
Even running away from what? To what?
Exactly.
Right? So end of the day, it all comes back to us. There's nothing outside. Everything is here, inside. And if you don't like what you don't see, then you have the power to create what you want to see, what you want to experience. And that's the power of visualization, which happens when you are in that deep meditative, in your solitude with clarity, because you don't want to visualize the very things with intensity of your emotions or feelings that you don't want to experience, right? And unfortunately, that's what we do. Our mind is on autopilot, repeating the same thought, same emotion, same pain, same sorrow, same situation that caused us pain. And yet we question, why am I reliving the same pain over and over again? Because we hold on to the story, we make that our identity, and we become so comfortable with that limitation that we play the victim within. And before we realize it, we are attracting the very same. And then we say, why me? And we get stuck in that loop. And I say, you know what? There's a way out.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. And coming back to, I must say, your work is very deep. And I always find that for me personally, learning is a lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong.
Right? And if anybody chooses to go on this journey, just be ready. It may be harder at first, but it's something that you will still keep doing as time goes by.
It's rewarding.
Yes.
It's very rewarding. You know what? It's beautiful to be able to sit in the comfort of your own room and watch the traffic go, just flow. Being untouched, being unbiased. You're just a watcher, being unaffected. How beautiful would it be to live your life like this?
And with that, I want to say thank you so much for being on my first podcast episode. I really appreciate your time today. And I look forward to what else I can create with you as I build my community. Thank you.